Hey everyone, good morning. This is Chris Magnuson with Street View Vagabond, and I'm here with another Unboxing the World video in which I explore the world using Google Street View, grab some screenshots from that place, and tell a story about what I learned from there and kind of share out on social media channels. And today is actually a very unique day in which, whoa, Claire Ness. I'm going to be putting together, this unboxing is Whitehorse, Canada, which is in Yukon. Um, uh, Very close to bordering Alaska, north of the 60th latitude line, parallel. And I know a lot about Whitehorse. And the reason why I know a lot about Whitehorse is because I've done some fantastic interviews with folks like Claire Ness, which I just um, uh, uh, saw her on this photo stream here. And this photo stream here is of a radio station called CJUICE or CJUC, um, which is a community radio station on the shores of the mighty Yukon River in Whitehorse, Canada. And it's got some really great, unique, independent programming that's happening there on a regular basis. And so let me tell you a little bit about my process is in which I listen to a radio station from a place in the world. I kind of pick the place, find a radio station, listen to it. I Shazam the songs that I'm hearing that are playing on that radio station. I put together a Spotify playlist, which I have here. You can see CJUICE 92.5 FM out of Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada. It's a great eclectic mix of music. A lot of it I haven't heard before, and some jazz, some folk, um, some other music that I can't find, right? Can only include what I can Shazam. So there's a big eclectic mix there. And just a little bit of background is that I interviewed a few people from Whitehorse, Canada, almost a year ago. I can't believe it's taken me this long in order to get edit these videos from the interviews that I did. So I'll be sharing out like who I was talking to and kind of what I heard during this unboxings too. But generally my unboxing videos, I've never known anything about the place. I kind of dump in and I kind of explore. Well, since interviewing Claire Ness, who is a musical artist and clown and performing artist in Whitehorse, Canada, um, I have created a new process, which are these unboxing videos. So I've never done an unboxing video of Whitehorse, Canada. So I thought, well, I should do one because now I'm editing the video, the interviews, and I'm going to be publishing those on social media channels soon. So I thought, let's do this. Let's do CJUICE, and let's do Whitehorse, Canada today for there she is. There's Claire Ness. She's wearing the red nose. So I'm stoked that she came up on this slideshow here too. I'll be sharing out the folks that I am telling the story about Whitehorse as I'm going through unboxing today. So it's a little bit different than kind of just like, hey, I don't know anything about this place. I know a lot about Whitehorse, Canada. And I'll tell you my process there too. So anyway, I'll be sharing out the Spotify playlist. I'll share out the links to CJUICE. Also, it's a great station you should check out. As you see, Whitehorse, Canada is north. Okay, it's in the southern part of Yukon, which is this triangle here. But this is super far north. Um, and I also interviewed our illustrious podcasters of a podcast called Frisky North of 60, in which they talk about love, dating, life in Yukon territory too. And one of the things that they said, which was really funny, was the fact that like, hey, come to Yukon, no, let's go to Alaska. So I thought it was funny. Anyway, I'll be explaining that a little bit later too. Okay, so I'm going to drop down here in the middle of Whitehorse, and I'm going to put 40 minutes on the clock. And there we go. Yeah, in there. And like I said before, this is very different. I know a lot about Whitehorse, and so I'm just going to kind of reminisce of a year ago. And we'll see, maybe things have changed because maybe Google has come through again. Nope, they haven't. This is July 2009, which is also really funny because when I originally kind of explored this, I was I was thinking, oh, hey, this is a cool place, and then let that icon disappear just a few seconds. But, this is a cool place, and then I started showing the photos to Claire, and it's like, oh, that's old. Oh, that's gone. Oh, that's not there anymore. It's like, what? So I had to come back and see that the fact that in fact these photos were taken in 2009. So a lot has changed. Check this out. This is like a garbage can, but it's like bear-proof garbage can. Check that out. Wow, I didn't notice that last time. Okay, so Whitehorse, Canada was one of the first places that I really started digging deep and thinking about the possibilities of what this project could be, the Street View Vagabond. I really, like I said, it started about a year. I really started Street View Vagabond 2018 when I was exploring. Look at this. This is really cool. It's 2009. That kid, that fellow living on their own, out working. It's crazy, right? That was a while ago. Choku Chow. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, so yeah, so like my first actual video kind of exploring the world was of this place there, Toros in Uruguay, and yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. It's 2018, and then I had some fun and just enjoying it. And I started thinking about, ooh, what would it take to actually reach out to folks and see if, oh, check that out. I've never seen that before. It's like a bike. Sculpture. Look at that sculpture. That's interesting. All about those. So I was like, okay, the next step here. The next step is going to be to try to actually reach out and talk to folks. Okay, so I did that successfully. I talked to people in Menlo, Iowa, in Ushuaia, Argentina. And so it was a lot of fun, right? So I really got a chance to. Oh, there's the extra foods. Let's get that shot. That's a good shot. Anyway, so I was like, oh, okay, so I need to reach out to folks. So Whitehorse, I was like, randomly chose Whitehorse, totally random. I was like, oh, that's a funny name. Didn't realize it was actually the capital of Yukon. So it's a fairly large city. It's about 40,000 people. And Whitehorse gets its name from the rapids of the Yukon River, and that look like at least one thing that I read up on was saying that the name Whitehorse came from the rapids with the foamy white water looking kind of like the manes of white horses. So that's one story that I have come across and have learned about Whitehorse. But anyway, I was going to say, check out that mural. I didn't see that last time. This is fun because it's been over a year since I've been here. And I'm seeing some new things here. Look at that mural, and then it says Norgetown. It's like Norway Town. Interesting, cool. So anyway, Whitehorse, I was like, okay. And I tried so hard to find people. I was like, oh man, reaching out to folks and different entities. I found people that were ice sculptors, because there's this Rendezvous Festival, and that's up here. So these are the clay cliffs. The airport's up higher here. And so this is what Claire was saying is that like since they built a dam, they can control the river a little bit more around here. This area doesn't flood as much. But the river basically used to flood up to those cliffs. I think that's what she was saying. Georgetown, yeah, this is a while ago, right? What's that husky? Interesting. There's always still more to learn, right? There's always more to see. You never. Is that a first step? And then the flags here, I see Japan. Is that Italy? Then Mexico, Canada, United States. Taking this boat here, that's what I'm trying to get. So anyway, so I try to find folks. I went on all these different websites looking at like, there's like these Arctic games that happen each year here, which are really cool. So the First Nations, just these really cool games that that kids compete in. More traditional games where you've got throwing a spear across the ice, high kick, hitting, kind of like a hacky sack on a stick. Did this change? This is 2007? What? Oh, it's so blurry. Oh, we're in 2007 now. Oh my gosh. If I remember correctly, I think. Yeah, jeez. I'm kind of on the outskirts here. I thought here was anyway, I'm not gonna, we're super on the outskirts, so let's get back into town. I can't believe it was 2007. Wow. 2007? They were doing this back in 2007? Oh, no, I say they, I mean, Google. It just blows my mind. Dollars. Anyway, so I was radio silence, like nobody responded to me. I reached out to I did reach out to CJuice. I reached out to the radio station. I did reach out to yeah, it is $1. Oh, that's not bad. Okay. Anyway, nobody. It's getting a little frustrating. I was like, oh, it's okay. It's just fine. And so I was kind of scrolling around, looking around, and I finally reached out. I have to go back to emails. I don't remember exactly who I reached out to. Oh, I know what it was. So I found this guy, and he was an athletic director. He was in charge of, I think he actually was in charge of the Arctic Games. Seemed to be very approachable, kind of a middle school teacher, I think, middle school or high school teacher. And, there's some video of him, especially around the Arctic Games, that, I was like, okay, this guy seems pretty cool. So I reached out to him, and he was on the podcast. And so I reached out to him and the other guy that was on the podcast. And the other guy reached out to me. He's like, hey, our podcast is kind of defunct. What you really should try is you should check out these folks at what's called Frisky North of 60. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. And Frisky North of 60 is this great podcast about love and life and dating in the Yukon and north of 60, the 60th parallel. And I'm kicking myself right now because I don't have the names at the tip of my tongue. But let's do this. Let's do a quick search right now. Apologies. I was just editing the other day. Bart. Frisky with the 60. And it, come on. This is it. So this kind of new co-host. Okay, Karen McColl and now Mark Kelly. Karen McColl was consistent from season 1. Now we're into season 2. Look at that. Almost 9,000 downloads. That's awesome. And Jordan, so Karen and Jordan were running the podcast last season. So now it's Karen and Mark. Anyway, it's a fantastic podcast that just talks about dating in really small towns. And there's some really great nuggets of fun information, like using Tinder in such a rural area in which you would go and drive like 2 hours to get a Tinder signal in a new community, so that you could look up the 100 or so people in that area that now become available, right? So it's funny. Cruise ships also, right? Cruise ships come into town, like all these young people looking for love, and Tinder like blows up, when the cruise ship comes to town. There's the fall scramble and the spring thaw, or the fall freeze and the spring thaw, which people try to grab a mate after the winter, so that they can bunk up in the cabins. And then come spring, it's like, maybe this is gonna work out. So everybody goes their separate way. So anyway, it's a great podcast, and I'm not even doing it justice. And I'm finding this is actually really hard to have this conversation while I'm doing more edits. Screen chatting while I'm going on. Anyway, lots of good stuff going on. Anyway, first getting with the 60s. So I was super stoked, right? I had this like this what do you call it? I had a win, right? I was like, yay, I got somebody, I got an interview. It was super, super cool, and super chill. And I was like, okay, this is good. And then it turns out that I reached out because of the radio station. I'm going on memory. I know exactly this place that I'm taking a screenshot of, because I already have a screenshot of it. There's evidence of like First Nation. Oh yeah, I remember this one. So nothing has been updated on Google, which is actually good. Adult Temptations. I think that was a sponsor of Frisky 60 recently. So what was that? That's the Tuan Kacha Council Lands Resources. Okay. I was thinking it's the Kwanlan Gun, which are downtown at this amazing center, and we'll get to it. So anyway, so Claire Ness, she is a musical artist, and she is listed on that radio station, the CGs. And she responded, right? She was like, yeah, sure, I'll do an interview with you, which was super exciting. So now I had 2 interviews, right? I'm like, oh, this is great. I got, I was able to get into this. That's because I have this photo. Oh, there's the cinema there. This is no longer there. Extra food. But Claire was saying that this was her elementary school. Look at that. That's cool. Oh my gosh, it's a connect. It's no, Calgary. Awesome. I missed that last one. Okay. We'll do extra foods. So, which made the joke to Claire, thinking, oh no. these two. Cavity flames, trash can. This Calgary would be the closest big city. The hockey fans here from Calgary. So anyway, so Claire agreed to an interview as well. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm super stoked. Now I got 2 interviews, right? And Claire's conversation was great because she's like I said before, she's super versatile. She's a performing artist. She had won a children's music album of the year when I talked to her last year. She's done this residency at a cabin up in Banff, just a music writing kind of residency. There's that, yeah. That's cool. And she wrote the song called Cabin Party, which I felt really bad about because in the whole interview, the whole time I kept calling it Cabin Fever. And I was like, oh, you have this great song, Cabin Fever. And she's like, well, it's actually Cabin Party. She was a super great sport. And it didn't keep disappearing. Anyway, so the interview with her went really well. I learned a lot about like her process. She studied even like circus and clowning in Montreal, and so she came back up to Whitehorse, and she was talking about the kind of arts really super supported. The adult warehouse. This is the one that says try me on for size. Look at that, it says try this on for size. Yeah, I love it. See, I told you I've been here before. I told you. Not to that store, but what's it called? How does it go? What's it called? No, Adult Temptations, right? Anyway, so the interview with Claire went really well, and I'll have to. My memory is not serving me right because I don't remember exactly how I ended up discovering Gurdeep and reaching out to him. But one of the things I was thinking of, it would be really cool, is when I was part of this process of this project, I was like, okay, the idea here is like traveling from home. Because I don't love to travel, I love to travel. The idea here is like, I want to, there's another bear box. That's cool. I haven't seen that before. There's that French sign. Like for example, I was like, oh, maybe I'll find like a restaurant and I'll cook the food here at home. Maybe I'll, do some dancing, do a class and that sort of thing. So I was in this mindset of like looking for stuff that I could do while I was at home. And in that vein, I came across Gurdeep, and he was offering a bongo class, a bongo dance class. And I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And he lives in a cabin outside of Whitehorse. And it's like, yeah, let's do it, right? So I ended up taking a class, a dance class with Gurdeep of the Yukon um, for 5 weeks. I think it was last summer, and asked him for permission to film, and that's going into my editing of my video. And I'm going to be really careful about not including other people. So that's going to be in that story. So now I have this, it was just like this amazing kind of combination of, this is Skookum Gym Center. Skookum Gym is a Native Canadian who ended up finding gold for the first time up in the Yukon. Kind of north, there's a town called Dawson. It's a Skookum Gym, along with a couple other folks, or he showed other folks this. Oh, there's that mural. That's a great mural. I love this mural. Where the gold was, and then the gold rush was on, and so hundreds of thousands of folks came up up the Yukon River through Whitehorse and just changed the whole area, right? It was the Yukon Gold Rush. It was pretty intense. That was super interesting. Anyway, so I ended up taking this fantastic Choka Trail is one of the people. I think check that out. That is a cool detail. I did not see this before. Let's see those folks. So those are those miners, kind of get up into the hills to do their gold, stake a claim, do their gold digging / panning. Love that detail. Oh, there's the two moose. All right. Oh man, this is like going down like memory lane. So this is now Woodcutter's Blanket, which is a restaurant. And Woodcutter's Blanket is basically I'm gonna get this wrong. I think it's whiskey. Restaurant. I'm calling it Two Moose Restaurant because Claire was like, "We should have called it the Two Moose." She's like, "Nobody knows what." Nobody knows what that is. The Woodcutter's Blanket. So this place no longer exists, unfortunately. So this is like a kid center. But yeah, it no longer exists. I'm just gonna go for this. Today's Wild Wednesday. It's not a good wildness up here. This is crazy. I haven't been here in a year. Anyway, back to my extremely interesting story here is that so I ended up taking 5 classes with Gurdeep, learned some Pongo dancing, got to film, horrible audio, and I'm having issues figuring out how to edit that just because the audio just either was non-existent or didn't come through. So anyway, I'm dealing with that. But I'm going to come to it a little bit later. But the one feature here, let's just go look at this. Log building contest. What is that? What is a log building contest? I'm going to use that. I did use that in my game with. Why am I continuing? I keep forgetting. Tracy. No, Karen. Called Karen and Jordan. I had sorry Karen. I love the podcast and I love getting to know you, but for some reason this morning I have a brain fart the whole time. Love your content. Love episode 2 if you watch, but you probably not. So I use this log building contest as a photo in the game with Jordan McColl. So I'm coming up onto the Whitehorse Star, which is a newspaper. And this is what reminds me. So downtown, which we'll get to pretty soon, is a 4-story log cabin skyscraper. And when I came here originally, starting newspaper, literally when I dropped Pegman down into Whitehorse, it was literally the first thing I saw. And I was just like, this is going to be fun. Like, what is this? It's a so yeah, so I got, I'm confused why I got 202. So I'm saying I'm confused because 202 is DC area because my area code. Coaster Boosters. I think I've reached out to Coaster Boosters too because I like this. Anyway, there's a 4-story log skyscraper downtown. We're going to get to soon, hopefully before time's up. We got 13 minutes left. And I was saying to Claire, I said, oh, that's really cool. You know, when I was checking things out, there's a 4-story skyscraper. And she's like, oh, I know the guy who lives at the, in fact, he lives at the top. I was like, what? His name's Vince, and he's a photographer for that newspaper, the Whitehorse Star. And I was just like, can you introduce me to him? Because, like, first of all, you know, first of all, let's acknowledge this is an absolutely gorgeous movie theater. This is the Yukon Theater. I did use this in my game with Jordan McColl. And on Frisky, you should check it out. It's a great podcast. So I'm like, are you serious? So she introduced me to Vince, who in fact lives at the top of the Log Cabin Skyscraper. And I get a tour of the Log Cabin Skyscraper. It is the coolest thing. And it's like such a, it's unbelievable. I'm on the phone with him. He's walking me around. It is just a blast. And again, it's like one of these things where it's like, you know, part of it is like the murals on this school are just off the chain. By the way, part of it is just like, you know, it's just so cool that first of all, there's a 4-story cabin, right? And then second of all, I was able to kind of get introduced to Vince that lives at the top. And he was totally down with it, right? I was like, yeah, sure, let's do this. We just walked around, we talked for about an hour. And that's how we spent our day. So that's kind of like that part of this process of this project where it's like, how do I reach out? How do I get to know folks? How do I get to know a place remotely? And part of it is like places that honestly you probably wouldn't go to. And this is no slight on Whitehorse. Now that I know so much about it, and I truly have like chatted and got to know folks, yeah, I definitely would go because it's fun. Right now. And that's part of it, right? It's like a lot of times we can go because of you know what's actually offered there. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's not anything offered here. I mean, like, there's lots of really cool stuff to do here. But I was training. But I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy to get here, right? So you definitely have to. It's not like, oh, let's dip into what's this one and red thing. Let's dip into Wales. Let's check it out. And you kind of gotta be there, right? Oh my gosh, that is the club I go. I didn't see that. That's okay now on the back. Okay, cool. So this is the salmon and barbecue joint. This is called salmon barbecue joints. Okay, cool. It's not the call maker. I'll get right to it. So it's like sometimes I click on it and my face doesn't disappear. Sometimes it does. I don't understand. What's the difference? Klondike rib and salmon barbecue. So anyway, just by reaching out, I got a chance to know Whitehorse and listening to the radio station. That's a huge piece. It gives a sense of local culture listening to those radio stations. And then it's frantic falls. I wonder if that's, I think Claire Ness has actually participated in frantic qualities. Okay, I think I have to like hold so long story short, I'm traveling virtually, which is exactly what this is all about. But it's just connections, right? You make a connection with people, then it becomes compelling. Say, hey, let's go check it out. So this is going to be check out this shop, Max Fireweed. And fireweed is this fantastic purple flower that blooms pretty soon. I think we're in this, might be in the season for fireweed. Yeah, midnight sun gifts. General store, creative Arizona. I think I actually have a better photo of that than stuff. I'm going to do fireweed as my post for Wednesday today. Oh, check this out. Federoff, that's a great sign. Pay attention to that. Again, a lot of these things might be gone because this is from 2009. Hopefully Murdoch's is still in. We'll see. Yes, that's it. So I gotta click and drag at the same time and my face doesn't disappear. It's so exciting. Yes, it's like a seal. Yukon. And then there's a statue up here. Look at this. I feel like I know my way around town. And the reason I know my way around town is where the Govies work. That's what Claire called them, Govies. This is the administrative capital of the Yukon. So there are some folks coming here for those types of jobs, the Govies. Sketch. Okay, so I was saying, dang it. Glad I unlocked that. Okay, so there's a great mural coming up here And this is of there she is. So this is funny. So this is one of those um, kind of like dead ends, right? It's a town and mountain hotel, and on here there's this woman. She's in a you know frantic folly kind of you know vaudeville show-esque thing, and I just spelled it hotel. So I called up this place. This would be like, what's the Caribou Club? Yeah. What's the deal with Lady Viola? Is it Viola? Lady Lydia. It turns out the woman is like, oh, it's my mom. At least the person on the mural. It's like, what? It's your mom. So I wanted to have an interview with her. And so again, I called up a few times. We weren't able to connect. And I think it's just one of those things where, you know, some random dude from Washington, D.C. is calling you up to talk to you about the painting on your hotel. You don't have time for me. I get it. And so we never actually had a conversation, but I was able to get a message from her saying that in fact was her mom, at least the painting of it. And what I wasn't able to confirm is whether or not her mom, in fact, was a vaudeville star. Okay, that's a flag here. I'll do a little research on this. I know it's the Yukon flag. I'm not sure what that flag is. Could be a First Nation flag potentially. Not this looks like a government building. That's flags. Now that I hiked up the skyscraper out now, I'm like, where's the skyscraper? I thought it was right downtown. Here's the CBC. I love this mural where it's like the back. It's the back of buildings. Oh, the skyscraper. I know I'm close. I know. But one of the reasons why, oh, I'm close. Oh, there's the CBC. That was part of my process too. I was like, oh, maybe I can connect with folks on this wall here. Wasn't able to do that, which is fine. CBC. So my time is getting short here. I do need to be going. Now I'm just dying to see where is the Log Cabin Skyscraper. Oh, I don't remember seeing that. Is this still 2009? I missed these murals last time. It's okay. And then we got one here. So it has taken me a year to edit these videos, and I feel so bad that it's taken me this long. But here we are. And again, live and learn, still figuring out the best way to do all of this. But the one thing that I will say is like a super success here is that it kind of like all of my interactions with, once it finally got, there's my alarm. Here it is. I know this is it. There we go. Yay, look at that. This is a perfect way to end. Okay. There is the 4-story tall Log Cabin. And as I said before, as I had a chance to talk to Vince, who lives at the top of this cabin. Um, and it's a beautiful thing. The fact that there's a 4-story tall um, log cabin is amazing. And perfect way to end uh, an unboxing of Whitehorse, Canada. But what I was going to say is one thing is just like about my process is that like I interviewed all these great folks. I danced with Gurdeep, I interviewed Claire, I interviewed Karen and Jordan on Frisky north of 60. I interviewed Vince, who lives here in this right there at the top floor of the Log Cabin Skyscraper, and really got a sense of life in Whitehorse. And it was so much fun. Um, and really, it took me a while and kind of struggled to figure out like how do I tell the story and how do I get more interviews? And that was the piece where I kind of started this unboxing. I was like, kind of generate kind of this energy and this flow kind of outreach to folks in order to get the next interviews. Because it takes a long time for people to finally answer that phone, because who is this freak who is calling me from Washington, D.C. To talk about what he's seeing on the computer? It's kind of freaky, right? So anyway, long story short, um, I'm finally unboxing Whitehorse, Canada, because I've been unboxing all these other great places. I'm super excited that I'm editing these videos of these interviews that I just did, I did a year ago. And I'm so stoked to see kind of how all of this turns out with those interviews, with what I'm going to be editing and putting that out too. So it's going to be super exciting. So anyway, if you've watched this video to this point here, thank you very much. Was not expecting that. I've got a great video coming out of the interviews I did with the folks here in Whitehorse. So I strongly suggest that you subscribe to this channel so you can get that update when that does come out. And if you're seeing this many years later, check it out too. Check my channel out. There should be a great interview video that is just going to be, a combination of all of those interviews and dance classes to kind of talk about life in Whitehorse. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.